Hi there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the My GBC podcast. I am super excited to have you all tuning in today because we've got a special treat lined up for you all. I'm joined by two awesome folks, John and Yefri, who are rock stars on the planning committee for the year-end show at George Brown School of Design. And this year-end show is happening on May 1st and 2nd, so mark your calendars. But these two bring some serious behind-the-scenes knowledge, so whether you are a design nerd, a student hustling through the last semester, or just like a semester, or you're just curious about how creativity comes to life, you're in the right place to hear from the right people. We are diving deep into the nitty-gritty of pulling off a showcase that's all about celebrating the mad skills and talent in our community and in the School of Design. And by the way, I'm actually also a part of this mix as a committee member for Year and Show as well, so I thought I'd mention that. I know these two very well as we have had a bunch of meetings every week, and my microphone actually never works in those meetings. And the reason for that is actually these podcasts, because I have to record them and I have this like microphone that the school has sent me. And because I'm always connected to the Zoom using this microphone when I don't have it, which is when I want to attend the meetings with these guys, I never can speak. And I really apologize for that. And I really appreciate your patience for that. But yeah, so I have Yefri and John with me. How are you doing, guys?
We're pretty good. I mean, it's the final week of school, so as good as you can be considering
I
everything
know.
happening all at once. But it's beautiful weather outside. I biked from my home to the school on the waterfront. It was fantastic. There's people out again. It feels like life is really coming back into the city. So
I
stressed,
know.
but not depressed.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely a buzz in the air right now with the sun coming out. I biked in as well. And I do want to say to the listener, it is true. Pantea is definitely a serial muter every single time in her day. So thank you for that today. I think that definitely started off with a good cause. But yeah, we're here. We're excited. We're at the end of the semester and excited to be putting on this Yes Show for you guys.
For sure, yeah. Thank you for coming in, and I'm excited to see what happens inside. Yes, I am probably gonna act like I don't know a lot about it, although I do know, but let's start over with the two of you and let's maybe like introduce ourselves to know how you guys ended up in the School of Design and what you do.
So, hi, I'm John. I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland originally. So, I'm John from St. John's, which is easy to
Amazing.
remember. You plan on remembering me after this podcast is over. And yeah, I went to school originally for history, but I got really interested in the idea of synthesizing historical understanding with design acumen. So, I came back to school a little bit older than some of the other kids in my class. I'm not going to say how old exactly, but I moved to Toronto during COVID. I wound up looking into George Brown. I got really excited into doing my classes here. And then when I heard about Yes from a classmate and a friend of mine, actually, my friend Daria told me about it. And I heard that it was going to be a really good way to kind of practice some of the skills that I'd been working on in school. And I got really excited and I joined up.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you for joining us. And how about you?
Hi, my name's Yefri. I'm not from St. John's. I'm just from Ottawa. Uh, not as Yefri from Ottawa, not as extravagant. I'm a third year student currently studying interaction design at George Brown College. How did I get here? I was traveling, I was living in Valencia during COVID, and I met a guy that was working online. I was like, hey, how are you doing this? How are you able to just be online? And there's like nobody has jobs and things of that nature. And he told me he was a web developer and he does front end design as well. And I didn't realize you can get paid for that and be able to live by the beach. So at that point, I figured it's already COVID anyway, so let me just book a flight back to Toronto. I got into the interaction design program, and it's been one of the best decisions I think I've had. George Brown has definitely been a great experience. In terms of, yes, I was a part of that last year, which again was another great experience. Saw that they give away free pizza at the end and ice cream, and I figured, you know what, this year I want to be a part of that, and here I am.
Wow. So it was all because of the pizza. Is that what you're trying to say?
It was because of the pizza, and I'm a big, somebody told me that like, what's that thing? The Secret?
The
This,
secret?
I just put it out there. I was like, you know what? This time next year, I'm gonna be eating pizza and ice cream. And then
yes,
it
perfect.
hasn't happened yet, but we'll
It's
see. We'll
going
see.
to. It's going to.
It
I'm
would be so sad if they decide that this year instead of pizza, they're gonna give away like salads and stuff. You're gonna be so disappointed, yeah, free.
I will yeah, Anna Rita, if you're listening to this, I want my pizza. I want my 4 slices. No, I'm here
Yes,
for the pizza and for the vibes. It's been pretty
for
cool
sure.
so far.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you both for sharing how you ended up in the School of Design. And I know it's been a long journey for all of us. I also actually went to another school before coming to George Brown, but we all somehow ended up here sooner or later. So that's
What
all
did you
that
do
matters.
before? What did you do before George Brown?
I actually went to TMU and I did 2 years of fashion. So that
Uh,
was another interesting journey. And yeah, finally I ended up here because I realized it wasn't probably the best for me. But I loved graphic design. And I actually went to a graphic design art school in high school. So I was kind of already into it. I just thought fashion would be better, but it wasn't. So
so it
we're
was always
back.
meant to be.
Yeah, it's always been graphic design and brand design. But yeah, so that was about our programs and stuff. But how did you guys end up joining the Yes Committee?
So yeah, my friend Daria mentioned to me actually that it was a really good idea. She worked on it last year, and she said that it was really good work experience, really good experience collaborating with people. And I want to learn that. I want to get as many skills as possible. And I found that so far, Yes has been really, really useful in kind of developing some of these collaborative skills. But that's the main reason why I got involved.
Yeah, I got involved in Yes. So I, for the second year, last year was the first time that Yes kind of came back up after COVID. So I was lucky that I was in the second year and I got to participate and showcase some of the projects that I was working on throughout school. And I saw a lot of the work that went into creating like the production and the whole experience, and I was really appreciative of it. And I wanted to be able to somehow give back to the students at GBC. So I told myself that this year I wanted to get involved and be able to also like implement some ideas that I might have had and things that could be better just by speaking to the students and things of that nature. I think as a student at GBC, it's on us to be able to create these things for our community and keep it moving and keep it going because it's definitely a great experience.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's definitely a great experience to like give back to the college and the community, but also it's very exciting for us to like honestly, yeah, it's a lot of meetings for sure. It's a lot of work and planning, but then when you actually see it come to life the day of the show, it's very, very interesting and exciting. It was interesting for me to see it coming to life. So yeah.
That's definitely true. And there's something about that moment when everybody's coming in and it's like, I think we need to give that to ourselves where we work so hard, and we're like, down on ourselves trying to like get the grades and everything like that. So
Yeah.
having that one moment in time where you can just sit back and look at the work that you've done, look at the work that the other students have done, because realistically, we don't get to talk to each other a lot. We're also
Hmm.
focused on our own things. So I remember last year when I was going and seeing the graphic design work or the game work, it's just like, holy, this is massive. And everybody's doing really
Yeah.
good work, and it's great to like kind of communicate in that manner and share and laugh and just be excited for each other.
Yeah, I'm only in my
For sure.
second year. This is my first time doing Yes. I'm only in my second year, but I'm really excited to come to the actual show and see what everyone else has been working on in the third year and kind of like see what else is out there, see what people have kind of been experimenting with. I'm very excited to see that.
For sure, yeah. And can you tell our audience, in case they don't know what year-end show is, like in detail, what actually year-end show is all about?
So the
I'm
I
gonna
guess
let you, you have more experience.
yeah, the vet, the 1 year vet. So the year-end show, as you said, yes, is an acronym for the year-end show. So as it comes to the end of the year, all of us are in some programs are mandatory for like graduating students. And basically what's happened is for us, for example, for myself, I've been working on several projects throughout the entire year. And it's just a moment to showcase all the work that we've done. So in our
Mhm.
interactive program, we're working with like AR, we're working with VR, we're making apps and things of that nature. So we showcase it to the public. So we put on workshops for students and for people in the public. We put on portfolio reviews. I think we'll probably maybe talk about that later. So we put on a whole show that the industry people can come in, they can experience, the regular public, friends and family, they can come in and experience. But mostly what we're doing is we're showcasing all the hard work and efforts that the students have done and just putting them in a light to be able to showcase themselves to the world because we are about to graduate and we are about to go out there and make those impacts. So it's being able to see that, the fruits of our labor and the seeds that have blossomed finally.
For sure. Yeah, it's a very exciting event. If you haven't been, I definitely suggest that you can come to it, and it's open to everyone, whether like you're a design student, not a student at all, you're just like friends and family, or you just don't know anyone, you're still welcome to come. But yeah, so there's a lot of planning that goes into making this happen. We actually start what month is it that we actually get together for the Yes Committee? Is it like
Yeah, we started in like October, and then we had a bunch of little committees divided into committees. So people working on websites, typography, wayfinding, things of that nature.
yeah. And so can you maybe like tell us a little bit about like all the committees that we have? Do you know the name of all of them? Or I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we have we don't have notes even. We're reading it off of our perfect memory. But
Amazing.
there's digital assets and promotion, there's exhibition design and wayfinding, there's the programming committee, the printed collateral committee, the merchandise committee, the website committee, the AR development committee, and then the actual award show committee itself.
Okay, yeah. It's a lot of committees coming together. So like they each basically go work like separately on different projects that they take on. And then there's a general meeting where we all get together and discuss what we have achieved in that week. But there is a lot of like conversation and communication. So have you two ever felt like there were like challenges in this process, or is there anything that you thought was basically not done in the best way possible that could have been improved for the next year?
I feel like, before talking about any of the challenges, I think I just want to say everyone I've worked with so far has worked really hard and has been really, sort of showing that they're giving it their all, especially considering that this is, extracurricular outside of school hours. But I think
Yeah.
for me, the biggest issue, so I wound up being the committee lead, mostly because I'm the only second year in printed collateral. So I'm the head of the printed collateral committee, and everyone else was first year. So unofficial seniority, I guess. And that's been sort of my experience for me is like I was sort of anticipating being in not a team lead originally because this is my first year doing it. So kind of having to figure out what goes into leading a team, what goes into talking to the other teams,
Mhm.
what goes into delegating, trying not to get too much into other people's business, but also making sure that you understand what's happening. It's a lot of communication stuff. I think that's the big thing, and especially coming out of COVID, right? Like, so much time spent not really talking to other people. For me, at least personally, I was pretty locked in during COVID. Coming back
Mhm.
and sort of having to navigate social dynamics again it's been exciting. Challenging maybe is part of it, but I think it's also been very exciting, and there's been something very educational about the whole experience.
And how about you, Yefri? What committee were you involved in, and how has been your experience so far?
So I'm part of the programming committee. I'm the programming lead in that one. So my job is to kind of create the experience or the overarching experience that might be had. And now that I think about it, I guess my avid love for travel is probably why it's kind of like we have like a little bit of a travel themed idea going on over here.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, it's been great, honestly. For mainly shout outs to Anna Rita because any single time we're in a tough position or anything like that, Anna Rita definitely steps up. Anna Rita is the chair at the school of design. So
Yes.
we work with her closely, and she's always going into every single meeting with all the different subcommittees and making sure that we're on the right path. In terms of working with everybody, yeah, we got first year, second years, we got third years. We all have different commitments and things of that nature. But when we do get together, I haven't really found much of any hitches or anything like that. I feel like it's been pretty smooth sailing. Obviously, it's tough, but
Yeah.
the ones that have persevered, I think that we're able to persevere and put on a good show. And for me personally, anytime I'm in a bad moment, I'm just looking forward to the pizza.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely like challenges, but I mean, as there is challenges with like every kind of planning that you would do for like such a big event. But yeah, I agree. As Jeffrey and John mentioned, it's been a journey so far. We have lost a couple committee members. But again, as John said, like kudos to Anna Rita. She really get us like all together to get the work done, and she's a really great leader to make things happen. So I think we still managed to power through, and it's going to be a great year and show.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I also want to just mention as well for anybody that's contemplating on joining it, I think throughout the whole time at school, it's like you're within certain parameters and you're doing certain projects and things of that nature. But this is as
Hmm.
close to like a real world client experience that you might get if you haven't done an internship or anything of that nature, because so many things are happening, right? Like you come
Hmm.
up with one idea, one plan, it all goes, things hit the fan and things of that nature. And you learning how to communicate with others and how to, communicate certain ideas and things of that nature. And I think it's a great experience to help you get prepared for the real world, because in the real world, it's not going to be smooth sailing. So you
For
get to
sure.
have that and persevere there to have that at the end as well.
Yeah, and just also making sure to dot the I's and cross the T's, right? Like following brand guidelines, sending files back and forth to different people, like making sure information doesn't get lost in translation. It's interesting because this is the first big experience that I've had at the school where I'm designing with other people, which has been very, I think, eye-opening to kind of the positive elements and some of the unique challenges that come up when there's kind of an aesthetic quality that needs to be balanced between two people or a couple of people's different opinions.
For sure. And I agree. And I've seen like a lot of people even like putting the experience of working for the year and show in their resume just because that's like as Jeffrey and John mentioned, it's like working for a real client. Like you're doing a lot of work that you would have done if you actually worked for like an agency or studio. So I guess yeah, like you could have even mentioned it in your resume or LinkedIn if you use that to kind of be like, I did this, and you could mention the responsibilities that you had, which is great. Okay, so I know that the broader design community actually plays a role in supporting the Year in Show. So, can you tell us how we engage with the industry partners and other stakeholders to enhance this whole experience for both of our students and the attendees?
Well, so even just going down to the fundamental level of yes, right? Like the identity, the brand identity was created in 2019 by Underline Studio. It sort of has this big excitement element. So from the beginning, it's been really connected to the greater Toronto design community.
Mhm.
And so that's a really big part of it for all of us. And then as well, it's just kind of about elevating this next generation of creatives, helping kind of introduce people, having all of these people from the design community who come to the actual event, who kind of come and network and talk to young creatives. That's a really critical element of the whole process.
Mhm. For sure. Yeah, and also I know that we're gonna have some of our industry professionals attend our industry night because we are going to have a night that is called the Industry Night. And do you guys know anything about that? Like, do they come and talk to the students, or do they just like review? And how does it basically work?
Yeah, so the way that it works is the industry event happens on May 2nd. So we have two dates. We have May 1st and May 2nd. May 1st is about friends and family. We have some workshops for the public. We have an award ceremony and things of that nature. Then we have the big time show opening. That's when the whole show opens. Everybody comes in, they get to see the entire exhibit. On the second, that's going to be more for the industry night. So that's the opportunity for the students to get seen. Whoever is showcasing, this is where, and we actually try to help the students this year. One thing we're trying to do is having like exhibit preparation. So
Yeah.
working on like, improv classes or presentation workshops, exhibit preparation as well, things of that nature to get you ready so that when you're face to face with that industry person, you're able to, they say the elevator pitch. You got to be able to describe
Mhm.
your idea in just a couple minutes and have it fully fledged. So we're trying to prep the students so that when they're in front of the industry, they can talk about their ideas cohesively. And then hopefully, you never know, like maybe you can get a card or something like that. You can have a conversation. The main thing is that we want students to make connections with the industry people and get to ask those questions because the world is big out there in terms of design, right? We want to make it a little bit smaller for you and want to make it that it's more accessible as well.
For
So then
sure, yeah.
people just they come in, they meander, they view, they ask questions, and then, hopefully some magic happens.
Yeah, I think the networking aspect is definitely very important. And I actually didn't know that like the students they are having like you said presentation workshops and stuff to prepare. Is that like do they go to class to like give them a workshop about presentation or is it a part of the curriculum or how's it happening?
So it didn't, so this is a part where, like I said, I was in here last year and I saw some places where maybe some things could improve. So we all got together with like Anarita and part of the programming committee and just felt like a lot of people, I don't know if it was just because COVID and things of that nature, but a lot of people maybe could be a little bit shy or maybe don't have the presentation skills when they're going to be speaking with some of these. You got an industry person coming at you and speaking, asking questions, you can get very nervous. So this is
Hmm.
the first year we're going to kind of run it through. So on April 22nd to 26th, after school finishes, we're going to be putting out some posts for how to prepare your exhibits, how to do the presentation workshops, and doing the improv, because once you get like nice and loose, you can make some jokes,
Yeah.
after things of that nature. We think that that'll improve those communication skills. So it's the first pilot that we're gonna do and see kind of like where that works out.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the improv workshop, particularly. I have a lot of experience with improv actually before doing George Brown, and I
Hmm.
found that that ability, kind of getting through the sort of membrane of feeling comfortable in front of a large crowd, is as useful, I think, as any Gestalt principles when it comes to design. It's different elements of the design process, but it's going to be really exciting, I think, for people to get a chance to try this out, kind of play with it and sort of get some experience speaking and being able to present their amazing ideas and kind of elevate them to that next level.
For
Yeah,
sure.
and just to piggyback on that, it's just like you can have the most greatest idea ever, but if you can't properly communicate it, it's almost like a lost opportunity. So we just want to make sure people are prepared for that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, as a designer, they always say, like to us and our professors, that presentation is half of your job. Like, if you have a great idea but you don't know how to present it, technically, it's not the best situation to be in. So I think it's really, really good that you're all planning these workshops and like all these for students to be prepared. But also, you mentioned that there's opportunity for students, like maybe getting a card or something from like one of those industry professionals. And I just want to say I've seen that happen a couple of times. Like I've seen a lot of our students getting hired through these industry nights just because a lot of people that are coming in from the industry, they're like also scouting for people. They want to have young junior designers coming in and they want to see how talented these are. So it's a great experience for them to also just go through the work and see like, oh, okay, I like this person. I like their work or whatever. So yeah, there is a lot of opportunities and I've seen it happen. So if you are a student presenting this year, just make sure that you're going to all the workshops that Jeffrey and John mentioned to be really prepared and present your best self. Okay, and also my next question is, as we talked about it briefly, our event like features a diverse range of programs. Can you maybe let us know a bit about the cool workshops and the other programs that are planned for this year?
So one of the workshops that we really want to highlight off the bat, because it was super popular last time, is the experimental typography workshop that Dominic Eyre is running. So this one was really popular. It kind of went Toronto viral. I think that's the term we're
Yes.
using, where it was such a popular event last time that it wound up being presented in a bunch of other situations. So that's back this year. It's sort of it's experimental typography off the bat, but what is experimental typography? You at home might be saying to yourselves. And that's the fun part, is that it's a very interactive process that's going to be happening here at the school, involving all sorts of cutting, taping, sticking, drawing, and different ways of creating letter forms and kind of opening up that creative potential. And we're expecting it to be a big hit this year, just as it was last year. So that's the
Mhm.
first one that I think everyone's very excited about, but there's other ones as well.
Toronto viral? Are we coining that? Is that like
I
T
think
TVI or something?
That's the thing. Toronto. Yeah, it's actually, I have participated in this workshop personally. I do suggest it. It's definitely very cool. And Dominic is himself a very cool guy. So I definitely suggest that you attend to see what is going to happen. We're not going to give away too much. I think John told us enough about it, but just make sure that you're coming. And Jeffrey, you have another workshop for us. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we also have the art and design workshop that's going to be happening with
Yeah.
Shazad, sorry. This workshop is going to just be offering unique blend of instruction, experimentation, and hands-on creation. So the big thing that we're doing with these two workshops is just showing a lot of people have this fear when it comes to art and creativity, like you have to have some different type of brain or mindset to be able to do it. So what we're trying to do with that is just break down the barriers. So in this workshop, Kira's going to be able to just give you odd shapes and show you how art can be created through anything. So you can just see a blob, and all of a sudden you put a couple eyes on it, squiggly and this and that, and all of a sudden you got SpongeBob. So she's going to be kind of just it's going to be showing you how it can be created. You don't like SpongeBob?
No, I love SpongeBob. I love it. No, it's a perfect
Yeah.
description. I just the blob to the
We-
Bob kind of
The
transition, I
blob to
think.
the Bob, yeah.
Blob to the Bob. Toronto viral and blob to the Bob. We're knocking them out of the park today.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so there's going to be like a series of interactive demonstrations. And again, whether you're a beginner or you're just looking to dip your toes into the world of art, or if you're a seasoned creator that's looking for new inspiration, that this workshop's going to definitely welcome all skills levels and just be able to blob and bob and bob and
Oh my God.
ob and all that. All the obs are going to be up in this
All the
I don't
workshop.
obs.
for sure.
Huh?
I don't know how the organizer of the event is gonna feel like when we talked about SpongeBob and explaining about their event. But I'm sure it's gonna be definitely a
Yeah.
really great workshop. But we apologize in advance if it's not related to SpongeBob in any ways possible.
Yeah, my bad. My bad if it's not really. I'll bring you a SpongeBob something. Just go in there bobbing, bobbing and dobbing.
Bobbing and bobbing.
Robin and Dobbin.
But
Amazing.
it'll be
Very very amazing description of the events, guys. Make sure you're coming. That's all we have to say. Okay, let's talk about the portfolio review night. So we heard that there's going to be a portfolio review night for our students. Can you tell us a little bit about how it's like, and can everybody participate in it, or is there like a criteria for students to be eligible to participate?
So basically what happens is with the portfolio review, we get some industry members that are going to come in, and you basically have about 10 minutes to sit in front of each of the industry partners there, and then you can showcase your portfolio. So we have people that are going to be able to do reviews for game design, for concept artists, for interaction design, for graphic design. Any of the students can actually come in. So you don't have to be a graduating student. You can be second year, you can be first year. The point is to sit you in front of these industry people that are going to potentially hire you. And then you can pick their brains as per what it is that they're looking for. So I personally went to one before earlier this year. We host them sometimes on the first semester or like midway. And I got a lot of value out of it. I was able to sit down, they broke it down. A big thing, sometimes I think that we end up over describing. So a lot of the things that they'll say is like, hey, you need to tone it down here, add these types of images there, and then
Yeah.
provide certain messages and things of that nature. So they kind of help you get honed in and have a bit more tunnel vision of, for me, the biggest thing is finding out what it is that you're trying to say. So if you can't really explain that within that 10-minute chat that you're having, they're going to be able to break that down, pick it apart, and that way you can rebuild it so that when you are applying in the future, you're getting at a higher hit rate.
Okay. And do you talk to one person, or like do you switch and you move on to other reviewers? How does it
So,
work?
so generally it'll be one person. So basically what happens is you'll come into the room, they'll assess what it is that you're there for. If you're in there for the interaction design, graphic design, game design, things of that nature, they're going to pair you up with somebody. You're going to go, you're going to speak to them, sit down, bring your laptop, make sure it's charged. Do make
Oh
sure
yeah,
it's charged. Or
of
if you're
course.
because that happens. I know
Oh
some
yeah.
people that their computers are dead and they're like,
Yeah, that's all good.
That doesn't help with the portfolio review if your computer dies. So definitely making sure that everything's charged and ready to go is a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah,
For sure.
exactly. Or if you have a deck. And the benefit here as well is, so if you recall what we said earlier about the exhibition, preparation, presentation, or improvisation, is that it's almost like a little mini interview. So when you're sitting down to them, you can also work on pitching what it is that you want to pitch. One tip I would say is that make sure you just have one or max two things that you want to speak about. They're not going to be there and they're not going to give 30 minutes to speak about every single one. So pick out what your best project is, whatever it is that you've designed properly, and then and then you can speak about that. Then they'll be able to critique that and you can apply that to the rest of your portfolio.
And do people know like ahead of time who their reviewer is, or they just like show up and then they're assigned to a reviewer?
They'll be showing up. So we're going to have industry people from different sectors. The students are just going to be showing up and then we'll assign them to the appropriate reviewer.
Okay, perfect. And I'm just going to also mention that there is actually an Eventbrite link already up, which you can find it on our School of Design's or Year in Show's Instagram. So Year in Show's Instagram is at SOD_UNIT. yes. And School of Design's Instagram is DesignGBC. So if you go to the link tree on our top of like our bio, we have the link for all of these workshops if you want to like register for them, or also for the portfolio review that we were just talking about. There is a link for registering for that as well. So make sure that you are registering ahead of time. So hopefully you can get the chance to participate in it. But yeah, portfolio reviews are very cool. I've done a couple myself as well, and it's been very helpful. So yeah, make sure you're doing that one as well together with the workshops and everything else that you're doing.
Did you cry
Um,
after any of your reviews? Because I had one that was like, oh my God. I
oh my,
thought I thought I had it, but now it's like back to the drawing table. But it was
oh my
good.
God. No, yeah, it's definitely good. I didn't end up crying. I was actually pretty happy, but it's okay. It happens. Like sometimes, some reviewers, usually they're very nice though. I don't know how you ended
No,
up
no, no,
like
no.
crying.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't say
but,
that they were mean, but I'm just saying, when you get to the point where it's like I was coming in, I was like, yo,
okay.
I'm in second
Yeah.
year. I've been doing all these great projects. I'm an artist. I have all these great ideas. And then you sit down and you realize like, hey, boom, 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 boom. So I like that for
Yeah.
the humbling moment and kind of just, being able to pick it up. Now it's even better. So I'm ready for this one. I'm coming in forward.
For sure. Yeah, I also registered for this one, so we'll see what happens and how we're gonna learn anything if we are supposed to like change the whole website or change a little bit. Also, I don't know, do you guys like have websites and stuff? Because for like graphic and brand design, we just have a website that we present. Do you guys prepare like a deck, or how do you usually come for these reviews?
So I have a website personally, but I'm not sure if there's something that's expected for this one. I think website or deck both are good for the portfolio reviews, but
Yeah, for graphic
Okay.
design, you guys definitely need, well, I mean, you don't definitely need decks, but like decks are more prevalent within your area. For interaction design, it's definitely preferable to have a website. So that way you can because you got to show you're designing the website, whether it's with Squarespace or if you want to code it yourself. I personally just showcase the website because some of my elements have animation and things of that nature in it. If you're
Mhm.
showcasing apps or things of that nature or AR, VR, a
Yeah,
deck.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for us, I think we also, most students usually have a website, but I've seen like decks like bringing a PDF as well. That could
Mhm.
be fine as well. So yeah, that's how you can come prepared. And there is an award show as well. I know. What do we know about it so far?
there's going to be a lot of awards. That's what we know.
Yeah. Do you like
Amazing.
money? Do you like money? Do you like recognition? 'Cause-
We
Come
got
to the
it.
award show.
yeah, because it's all there. So the award show is going to be on the first. So that's going to be part of the Friends and Family Day. So it's going to be on the first, around 3 o'clock or so. So basically, what happens is, it's a celebration. It's a celebration of the accomplishments that all the students have had at GBC, and we highlight them. So there's going to be, best outstanding first year student, second year student. There's the Dean's Award. There's best showcase for this, best showcase for that. So the award show is just a moment to really celebrate the students and all the hard work that's been happening throughout the year, and putting them at the forefront. So you basically, Anna Rita will be up, we'll be going through the whole spiel and everything like that. Then they'll call your name, you go up, you shake a couple hands, kiss a couple cheeks, take
Yeah.
a take take a photo, and it's a great moment. It's a great environment, especially when you're starting to see like really been putting in that work, and then another opportunity to network because now you're seeing who is the most outstanding. Why did they win this? Why did they win that? How can I be better? There's a lot of people that I saw last year that were really outstanding that I didn't have interactions with. But
Mhm.
after I saw them getting highlighted in the award ceremony, I spoke to them afterwards, and they gave me advice for how to proceed on like the third year and things of that nature. Not necessarily saying
Mhm.
what's happening in all the programs and stuff, but just trying to piggyback off of what they've done and creating a networking opportunity. So for maybe when I graduate, I can like reach out and kind of, have that ability, mentorship and things of that nature.
Yeah, and now that you brought that up, actually another great way of finding other students and see like what everybody's doing in terms of like their work. We have a website for Year in Show where we actually showcase all the graduating students' thesis projects, as well as I think they're all also allowed to like upload a couple of other projects that they have. So I personally, because I actually run the School of Design's Instagram, that's my best resource ever, that I like go there and I look at people's work and like I find the stuff that I want to feature on the Instagram. But I've seen even industry professionals going through that website to like find people to hire. So if you are a student this year graduating, I definitely suggest to put some great projects up there on our website. And if you just want to see other people's work to see like what they're doing, that's another great way of doing it. Do you guys remember what is the exact link for our website? Because I do not remember what it was exactly.
Yeah,
I
I believe it. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna talk while you type it in, and then we'll.
No, the link for the website was yes.schoolofdesign.ca.
Yes, that's exact. I was just like searching. I search why and it comes up in my browser because of the number of times I've searched for it. But yes, it's like, yes, the School of Design SCA. We're gonna put in the show notes as well. So yeah, that's another great resource for you.
Yeah, and to your point, do put up your, like, even if it's one piece or two pieces, you don't even have to have a website. That's one of the advantages of having that resource there, because you can just put up like a couple pieces in your portfolio. And like you said, industry people do check it out. So it is an opportunity to notice. And sometimes if the industry people have come to the event, or just anybody in general that they've come to the event, they saw your exhibit, maybe don't necessarily remember everything about you in that moment, but they can go through that list and then find you and maybe contact you and things of that nature there. So it's just a great way to be seen and be found again.
For sure. Yes. Okay. And sorry, going back to the award show that we were talking about, I have one question about it. Are family members also able to join the award show, or is it only for the students themselves?
We definitely encourage family to come. It's entirely open. I don't forget, do you have to RSVP for it, or is there?
The only limit is however many chairs there are in the auditorium. So, and if not, we have an overflow, so we do have some TVs. You can also watch it live. We will be live streaming that as well. So there's an opportunity if family is not necessarily around town in Toronto and they want to watch it from online, there is going to be a link that's going to be sent out, and then they can join that way. But yeah, last year we were like just packed inside there and then just having fun. And then as soon as you come outside, there's going to be some cookies and food and beverages and things of that nature there as well. But friends and family can come.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So they can come. There is also an RSVP link, which again you can find it in our bio, like on the Linktree bio that we have in Instagram. And yeah, we can also put in the show notes. So I think that was all my questions. Is there anything else that YouTube would like to add or mention about the year and show in general?
I guess, yeah, just I want to shout out everyone who's been involved and been coming to meetings so far. There's, too many people to list just right now, but everyone who's been putting in effort with the year-end show, and also all the people graduating. I think there's a lot of hard work going on, and it's really nice. It's very gratifying when you're deep in the depths of exam and end of year time to kind of see that there's a lot of really hard work happening. So I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone who I've collaborated with or talked to or even just seen in a Zoom meeting. I feel like there's a lot of people really out there who are putting in 110%, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So except when there's, which you should also be sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't promote.
We don't promote. No, I'm old enough that I have to sleep like 12 hours a night in order to not be non-functional. So definitely don't work 24 hours a day.
Yes, we're not encouraging that, but it's possible that it's going to happen. It's unavoidable for students these days.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was all for me. Thank you so much for joining me today, John and Yefri. It's been a blast chatting with you two. And we learned a lot about the year-end show. So hopefully everybody else got a chance to learn a little bit as well. And to all of our awesome listeners out there, whether you're a student, a proud family member, a friend, or just like someone with a love for art and design, mark your calendars for May 1st and 2nd because you won't want to miss what's in store for you. It's going to be a jam-packed couple of days celebrating creativity, talent, and the incredible community that we have at George Brown School of Design. So we can't wait to see you all there, and I'll talk to you all next week. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.